Ale can start.
Good. Thank you so much. Welcome, everybody, to our live stream today. Thank you so much for giving us your time today. We'll have a really interesting topic for the next hour. And first, I would like to ask you to please go ahead and maybe scan this QR code if you have your phone with you and the time and would like to ask some questions. Else, if you're in your computer, the Slido code is right there as well. Don't worry about missing this out. In the next slides, you will also keep seeing the QR code. And also we will repeat it once the conversation is ongoing. For today, we are joined by our very own Victoria Korsova. She is our VP Product and COO here at Product People. And she is going to be talking about scaling your product management career from individual contributor to a C-level type of contributor. I'm super excited about this topic. Before going deeper into it, a little bit about myself. My name is Alejandro. I'm an associate product management consultant, level 2 here at Product People. I have 6+ years in product management and growth. And as an experience, I've been doing B2C and B2B products throughout my career. As you know, Free Now, Janssen, L'Oreal for B2C, and for example, Wayflyer as B2B. My background is in business administration. I did a course in Ironhack on data analytics, and I do speak English and Spanish. A little bit about what we do here at Product People. We are a product management consultancy. We do interim product management, product ops, and transformation acceleration services via our in-house staff. This is how we make money. And we also do free events and talks for one of Europe's largest PM communities with 50,000 members and counting. And this is exactly how we give back. We would like to get to know you. This is, again, the QR code and the Slido code as well if you're on your computer. This is a question that we would like to ask from you, a little poll. What do you think is the main difference between an individual contributor and a C-level employee? There's 4 answers there that you can choose, and we will be checking in how the poll is going. I'm checking right now.
I also wanted to participate, and now it works. I didn't see it before, so let's see. I also will vote.
Nice. So, very interesting answers.
I think it's a trick question or trick answers. I feel like 2 of them are true.
Right? So the C-level manages PMs while an IC focuses on product is winning. So yeah.
I would say, honestly, oftentimes there are also more meetings for C-level. This is also the second popular answer, and I can understand the people who say that. I think that is often the case. Whether or not it's the right way to do it or the good way to do it, I think we can debate. We can discuss it in Q&A. But there's oftentimes.
Interesting. Cool. So without further ado, I think I will just now give the microphone to, as I said, our very own Victoria. And we're going to be talking about, she's going to be talking about scaling your product career from individual contributor to C-level. I will stop sharing my screen right now. And I will let Victoria share her screen.
Great. Let's have it load. And it is, yeah, it is shared. I wonder if it's in the right place. Yeah, now it looks like in the right place. Great. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. If there's any of you who were wondering, we did not see Victoria's name yesterday or a few days before when we signed up for this event. Wonder no more, that's true, my name wasn't there. Reason being, I only decided or figured out that today that I will present. Unfortunately, our previous speaker was not at the full potential of speaking because this is the season of cold and other small issues, but she's well, and we look forward to having her speak at one of the upcoming events. So I'll be speaking here instead. And as Ali already mentioned, we'll talk about scaling your product management career from individual contributor or IC to the C-level. I have quite a lot of experience in product management, but also quite some experience in people management. I'm currently VP Product and CEO at Product People. Ali already have told you about what Product People is. We are a product management consultancy. We have over 30 consultants right now, as well as some supporting staff, and we work with many different companies. I also work as a product manager and product leader at multiple different companies. This brand includes Omio, Cheer Mobility, Freeletics, Zalando, Timerica, Blinkist, and some of the maybe less known but still very important companies in the B2B space like Dr. Lee or Elucidat, Javi. Also, Zalando as a B2B side as well is one of our clients. My background is in neuroscience. I studied biology and neurobiology, but found it was not that fast-paced and exciting as I wanted my job to be. So I switched to product management and never regret it. And I figured something that I took with me from this background is analytical thinking, logical thinking has been really helpful for me as a product manager. But people management and how to grow my career is actually something that I had to learn anew, because in academics, where I spent quite some time, things work very differently. How you build your career is very different. How to manage other people is not the same. And I want to share some of my learnings and observations with you today. This is a great team that we have at Product People with our product management consultants and our supporting onigiris. And I also learned many things from them, thanks to the experience, which are also now part of this presentation. An interesting picture was shared recently on LinkedIn by Professor Scott Galloway, where he talked about professional fulfillment versus sexiness of the job. Sexy jobs are something that many people are excited to work on, like passion, making ice cream, being a yoga teacher, doing something artistic is often something that comes from our passion. This sounds like a sexy job. It's cool to do that. And in the opinion of Professor Galloway, there is a negative correlation between sexiness of your job and the professional fulfillment. Well, professional fulfillment is growing in your career, consistently being happy with how you progress, making good money to sustain your living. They seem to not really be positively correlated. So he says that careers are asset classes and many people overinvest. So most people who follow their passion and go for sexy jobs, they end up in the fields that are already very crowded, like acting and music, art. And at the same time, there's a lot of hardship. So making good return on your investment is hard. For the time and energy that you invest might not pay back so well financially. And there is low job security. And you also can end up being aged very quickly. So it's a very competitive market that can also have a preference for younger people. At the same time, boring jobs offer a steady career path with regular promotions. Most people who tell you that you should follow your passion are often actually the ones who made some money in the boring jobs first and then followed their passion. They maybe did software engineering or iron ore smelting or something more like accounting. So something that's very clear job and is clearly paid well, but is maybe not necessarily exciting or seems like a sexy job. I think it's a very interesting perspective, and definitely we can use some of this when we talk about product management. How does it apply to product management career advice? It's often can be seen that product management is a sexy job. So if we look, maybe not for everyone in the world, some people might still say making ice cream is a more sexy job than being product manager. But if we look a bit closer into the IT, so in the tech industry, then it's definitely seen as a sexy job and sexier than being an engineer. Currently, everyone who doesn't want to or cannot really do something else in tech wants to be product manager. Their online courses, some of them make a lot of money, some of them not, but still there are many people who are trying to get into this market. At the same time, in the recent couple of years, we had many layoffs, and this means the job market is quite overheated. Salaries have even dipped down by 10, 20, 12%. At the same time, this is a very competitive market because the role is very unstable, it's changing. Tech industry cannot really agree what product manager does. In a company A, PM can run product delivery. At B, the engineering manager does it, and the PM should be business focused or more focused on talking to the customers. And sometimes product managers do part of the sales or customer support or customer success. So quite a lot of things, and it's not very easy to figure out or pinpoint exactly what product manager job is. Moreover, the career might be limited to some extent. It's not always that you can get to the C-level position. Sometimes the peak of the career ladder is below the company's top leadership and you report to the CTO or CMO or COO or CFO sometimes. We have even seen that. So it's not necessarily that you can create a steep career. These are some not super nice or maybe not super exciting things about product management as a career. Sound like a downer, right? Are there any good news? I think there are some good news. Being a product manager or becoming a product manager can sometimes be relatively easy if you leverage your domain knowledge and do an internal transfer in the company, or if you join a new company as an associate product manager, or maybe not a new company, but a company that is actively hiring people with no product management experience, but maybe other relevant experience. And there is no special training or education is required. Compared to being a doctor or a lawyer, that's quite fast that you can become a product manager and you can get a lot of experience on the job and really train on the job. Whereas with taking some other professions, even acting or making ice cream might probably take you a bit longer to really train and prepare. Inside of the company, this is a high leverage role and you have interface with many functions and can really make a big impact for the company and this is becoming even more apparent as more companies turn to product-led growth. They want to be growing their market share by creating great products, not just by investing more money in sales. So in the recent years, this has been a trend. And this means that product management must mature and become a strong business function, not just IT software delivery, so not just delivering the things that someone in management has decided, but really be part of the conversation, of the business conversation, to figure out what is most relevant in the current market, what we should build to win the high market share. Execution is still important, but there is more to this role if done correctly. What's also great is because you have such a big interface with many different functions and you have a very impactful role at the company, this helps you build entrepreneurial muscle. And you can later become a founder or CEO material because you will experience and be put into similar difficult situations as the founders and CEOs, just at a small scale. And this can be a great career to prepare you for those steps. Let's now talk about the steps. What can be the steps of the career growth? And we'll start with getting into product management, and then we talk about how to promote from being a product manager to product leader, and then how to reach a C-level. How to get in product management? I already mentioned that one of the great ways is to do a transition laterally in the current company where you are, where you can leverage your knowledge and expertise in the domain. So if maybe you're working at a healthcare company, or if you're working at e-commerce company, in a different role than a product manager, you have a lot of knowledge about the industry and about how company operates, and maybe you can switch to being a product manager into your product department. Another option is to find a company that's hiring associate product managers, and there are some small companies, some startups that might be hiring associate product managers as a junior role, or there are also bigger established companies that hire for these roles. For example, Amazon is one of the big known companies that hires for this. In Germany and in some other European countries, N26 is also an established player who is open to hiring associate product managers, so juniors. And of course, Product People. At Product People, we are very open to hiring people with no product management experience. and people who come from different roles and want to switch to product management. So consider either us or one of the other companies, which can be a great start to your product management career. And remember that your background is not an obstacle. You just need to take the right steps. And on the slide, you can see the distribution of where product managers who work at Product People come from. And you see that the big proportion of them comes from business and management background. Some come from engineering, technology, or science and research. But then there are also other fields like economics and finance, design and video production, law and humanities. So quite different industries and or backgrounds as in education. So your background is not critical. Now you're managed to get into product management. You had first year, 2, maybe couple, 3 years to build your skills. You're becoming more experienced and start thinking, okay, what comes next? What should I prepare to next? And how can I promote from being a product manager to a product leader? What is a product leader? Usually there are 2 main flavors. It's either manager of product managers who are individual contributors, or manager of first line managers, so people who manage PMs. So manager of people, managers who manage PMs. And the titles that you would normally or regularly see with product leaders are product lead or group PM, and these are usually first line managers, so people to whom product managers report. VP product or director of product is usually a manager of managers. So VP of product can be a manager of group PMs. Head of product is the most ambiguous title among those. It can be both. Either head of product can manage product leads or group PMs. Sometimes head of product is managing PMs directly. So can be different depending on the company. And a big part of this role is really about managing people and helping them do their job right, so helping PMs do their job right. What about product strategy? And how big of a product strategy as part of the role should you expect as a product leader? This depends a lot on a company. Sometimes in some companies, product strategy is more responsibility of the C-level, so the chief product officer, CEO, some other CTO sometimes will have bigger impact on how exactly we're going to be moving forward. So defining the product strategy as well as vision and mission of our product. And in these cases, product leaders focus more on people management and making their PM successful. Sometimes actually head of product or VP product has a lot of responsibility for figuring out also where do we go in product, where do we go in terms of our strategy, how to develop our product further, should we enter to the new markets, and so on. And this often happens when there is no product on the C-level. So if the VP product, for example, reports directly to the CEO or founder. Oftentimes, though, it's something that you have to balance between both. You need to do both people management and take care of the product strategy to some extent. So here you need to be quite mindful about where your skills are already strong and where you need to have some support. Oftentimes when people promote from being individual contributors to becoming product leaders, they have quite a good idea about building products. So making the product strategy might be an easier task for them than people management, for example, because they've never managed people before. And this, if you're finding yourself in this position, definitely seek more support, training, maybe a mentor or a coach on working on people management. Sometimes it can be the other way around. Maybe you have switched to product management from a role where you train people management more. And then maybe you got promoted to being a product leader quite fast. Still, maybe you need more support in building strategy and thinking on a bigger scale of how do we build not just one product, but multiple products. How do we think about product strategy as a big company and how to make good business analysis? Then seek support in these aspects. Whether to become a product leader at your current company or look for a position as a product leader at a different company is a very interesting topic to think about. And external product leaders can be a hit or a miss. And as Steve Jobs famously said, they were not very happy when they went and hired professional managers. Did not work well for Apple. But doesn't mean that this is not going to work well in all the cases. For a specific case of Apple, people they hired were not a good fit. But in some companies, they're very successful in hiring external product leaders. And if this is something that you're considering, look at different options. If though you want to grow as a leader in the same company where you started your product management journey, then look for companies with a strong track record of promoting line managers from within. Extra bonus points to the company if you see that many executives also came through their ranks, which means then you have a potential career of growing from being an individual contributor to product leader to to senior level to C-level maybe. Sometimes though you might see, okay, in my company this is not really the case that I can grow through the ranks, then I'll have to look for other companies that hire people managers from outside. Sometimes people management responsibilities are given even to people who don't have a formal product leader title. For example, senior product manager sometimes might have people management responsibility, and this might be a good intermediate stage before becoming product leader. What's also important sometimes is that you stick around in one company long enough to be promoted. Most people in tech leave after 2 or 3 years, and that is one of the reasons why they might not have been promoted to product leaders, because they didn't stay long enough. Staying for 4 to 5 years or longer is usually giving you higher chances to be promoted from individual contributor to product leader. But again, look at the career trajectories of people around you. You might find yourself in a company which doesn't like to promote managers within, and they like to hire externals, then maybe that's not the right place for you to promote. An asterisk says that there is also a path to become a principal product manager. We will not cover this today. Principal product manager is an alternative path. Instead of becoming a manager, especially focused on people management, you can stay as an individual contributor who is more experienced and has more expertise in certain topics. The pay and the pay grade might be similar to product leader, but they are classified separately and have a bit of a different responsibilities. Not all the companies have principal product managers, but some do. Again, something for you to think about and whether this career might be interesting for you. When should the promotion happen? It's important to understand that the promotion should happen at the right time, and you don't want to be the person who follows the Peter principle, where if you get promoted to the level of one's incompetence. So you want to be promoted at the time that you are quite ready for fulfilling the expectations and responsibilities on the next level. So around for 80% of competencies for the next level, you should have them. You should be able to fulfill your responsibilities. And for example, this is why if you want to become a product leader where you know you will have some people management responsibilities, you probably want to build your people management skills and competencies before this promotion, not that you are finding yourself unexpectedly responsible for other people and you know nothing about how to work with this. How you can build more experience in people management, I would say with mentoring, coaching, helping other junior team members in your company, or maybe offering some mentoring hours from your private time. And there are many platforms now who do it for product managers. Try that, and this will give you a lot of insight of how you are working with more junior people and helping them. Second important point about preparing for promotion is being emotionally ready. Being on a higher level is usually harder. You have more power, but also more responsibility. And it's important that you feel yourself that you are ready for this. And also some senior people like your manager agree and support you. And they say, okay, we see that you showed the strength that is necessary for the next level. Your line manager and the senior managers should back you up for the promotion. They should support it and be able to also argument in your favor. And something important to remember that for any promotion, you are in the driver's seat. If you're interested into growing from individual contributor to a product leader, please talk to your manager about this. Ask, how does it work in our company? What do I need to do? What skills and competencies do I need to grow? How do I show that I have those? And work consistently with your manager to achieve this. So short summary on how to get promoted: understand what is your company leveling. So what competencies are expected for each level, of seniority, what are promotion timeframes, what are the criteria to judge if someone is promotion ready. If some of these aspects don't exist, then be the one to suggest helping build those, which is also a great competency to show to your management, being the leader and showing ownership. Of course, you need to do your work. You need to build confidence with the work that you have responsibility for right now, but also you will consistently need to try to exceed expectations of your current level and go beyond. Show sustained performance for the competencies of the next level. I would say the rough estimate is between 6 to 12 months to be ready for promotion, to have this at least 80% or more of competency showed. Maybe at your company, the timeline is a bit different. That's why talking to your manager is so helpful. Importantly, get people on your side. Your work and your competency should be visible to others. If you think you're doing things well, then others should be able to support this notion. If you're the only person who says, I did everything great, then this is not strong enough for the whole company to support your promotion. But if they're your manager, your peers, senior management who supports this, that's great. And ideally, you want to have this documented so you have some testimonials or feedback from 360 reviews at your company, which help you show that this has been the case. And use your manager's support to build a promotion case where you explain how you have been excelling at the competencies and expectations for your current level and how you've been already showing competencies for the next level for some sustained period of time. All right, we've talked about the first two steps, how to get into product management and how to get promoted from being a product manager, individual contributor to a product leader. Now let's talk a little bit about how to reach the C-level. How is it even possible? As I said at the beginning, it is very much possible, and working as a product manager is often a great preparation to many senior leadership roles. And after becoming a product leader, being a VP product or director or head of product, you have at least 3 different ways how you get into a managerial position. One is to become a founder. This is not an uncommon path. And for example, at least 3 alumni of product people have already become founders and started their own startups and building their own products. But you can also grow internally in your current company, or maybe go to another company to a senior leadership role and become either more focused on business side, which will be a CEO, or more still on the product and tech side and become a CPO, Chief Product Officer, CTPO, Chief Technology and Product Officer, or maybe a COO even, which is Chief Operating Officer. And Chief Operating Officer responsibilities can be quite diverse. We'll not go very deep into this. As a product manager, this is a role that is not very specifically defined and can vary between different companies, but in short, usually this role is focused more on how things work operationally inside of the company, but can also cover many different aspects, also some business and sales topics, for example. How to decide where you want to go? Important to reflect about yourself and know yourself. And hopefully all your career so far has been giving you some insights about this. Decide who you're not. If there are certain competencies that you're not good at and you're not interested in improving and growing them, then so be it. Just understand this is not what I want to be great at. And think who you want to be and say, okay, these are the things that I want to be great at and I want to spend a lot of time in my work, and then work on collecting the relevant experiences. For example, if you think, right, I want to become a CEO because how to build a thriving business, how to make us succeed as a business is super interesting to me, then probably you want to build more of your business skills as well as financial skills. Work closely with your financial and commercial stakeholders, and also maybe do some extra learning on the side to understand how the business works and how different aspects of financial equations come into making or breaking a business. And another important aspect of growing from product leader to C-level is adopting certain special aspects or special soft skills. First is to think like an owner and adopting a proactive, accountability first mindset in every decision you make. When you're at the C-level, there is no really anyone above you. Even if formally maybe the CPO might report to CEO, still they work usually more as partners and peers. And you are the ones who decide how the company will continue growing, what decisions to take, how to do things right, and no one will really tell you. So you have to take this responsibility and ownership and be ready. And before asking for this promotion, you want to show that you have this attitude already. Second, relationships at this level are one of your strongest assets, and be mindful about building solid and loyal relationships. As John Maxwell said, leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It's about one life influencing another. So it's really, as long as you work with other people, and probably you do if you work in a tech, and there's very few products that can be built as one person experience. It's about what relationship you have with your team. How do you convince them to do a good job? How do you get loyalty from them when things get tough? They support you. This is really about that. And last but not least, build emotional resilience. You probably already experienced a lot of difficult things when you became a product leader, but if you go to C-level, things will get even harder. There will be more hard decisions. There will be more unexpected things, and in so many more situations, you will not really know what the right answer is. So you need to have emotional resilience to know how to survive this and how to move forward. In the end, I want to finish with a quote of Sir Edmund Hillary, which is, "It's not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves." We talked a lot about career today, how to really climb that mountain and get on the top. But do remember, a career is only part of your life. It's probably a very important one, especially if you came to this talk, then I suspect that you care about your career. You remember, your career is also a journey about yourself, about getting to know yourself, expressing yourself, and this is what's the most important part of it. If some of the things I said motivated you to join Product People, for example, as an associate product manager, do check out our job openings. We regularly hire junior product management consultants, but also sometimes for more senior roles. And if you join us, you will work with some of the exciting clients like you see on this page. With this, I'd like to wrap up, reminding you that we talked about the 3 steps in PM career growth: getting into product management, promoting from product manager as individual contributor to a product leader, and then growing to the C-level. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. If you have some feedback for this presentation, please share with me. We'll be happy to make it better and maybe show to you again in some time or in some other places. And I am also now very ready to answer any questions from our live streams. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Victoria. I will start sharing my screen now for the Q&A session. Here we go. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. Please share your questions with us, either on this QR code or by going to slido.com. The code is 2702210. While that happens, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about what we do here about on Product People, so I can make a bit of time while more and more questions come in. Don't worry, the Slido code will still be visible, as you can see in the up part of the slide right here. And yes, at Product People, we cover 3 main use cases for when to engage us. We do interim or fractional product managers or even product leaders. We do permanent position covers while you're hiring, as it often takes 3 to 9 months to hire for a role. We do parental leave covers for 3 to 12 months. And we also do important and urgent initiatives, basically drive product discovery or delivery, build an MVP, develop a strategy and roadmap, so on and so forth. We also do program management and product operations. We upskill your product management team. We appraise their skills and set up personal development plans. We create and streamline processes and programs from 0 to 1 in hypergrowth or at scale. And we do transformation acceleration as well. We shift from sales or tech-led to product-led type of organizations. And we configure your product strategy and team structure as well. we can set up your product organization for future success. As Victoria has already shared with you all, here are a few selected B2B clients that we have consulted for in the past. These are very interesting companies: Zalando, FreeNow, the Air Scout 24, Back Market. And for B2B clients, here are some that also would be very known already within the European market, such as obviously the World Health Organization, Pliant, Satisfy, Cognigi, and so on. Some stats that we have 300 cross-functional teams supported up until today, 70 plus clients from Series A startups to publicly listed companies. We have 42 product leaders and product managers in-house and full-time to ensure quality of service for our clients and strong career development path for our team members. And we are very proud to have 62% of women in the team and 66% in leadership. We have a strong bias to promote from within our firm and attract more women than the tech industry average, thanks to our skills before CVs hiring process. And I'm now back onto the Q&A slide. Thank you again for listening. And I will quickly start reading a few questions that are going to be directed to Victoria right now. So for the first one, what skills or traits did you focus on developing as you moved into executive roles? Question number one.
Thank you, Ale, and thanks for whoever asked this question. That's a great question. As I said, I think many things about executive role are about your soft skills and communication. And what comes before all, I think, is self-awareness and emotional resilience. How did I personally work on self-awareness and emotional resilience? Is a lot on psychology. So I've been doing regular psychotherapy and going on trainings on psychology, generally learning myself about how our brain and psyche works. And I think this helped me a lot in becoming more self-aware, in recognizing when my emotions are trying to drive me instead of logical actions, and being able then to act differently. And this also helped me, or helps me still, to understand better what's happening with others, and then find the right strategies to communicate, for example, to make sure that I'm being heard, that we can agree and reach an agreement with other people. So I would say awareness, that's a very important skill, self-awareness. Any other skills? Communication itself. I think as a more generic skill of public speaking is one side, but also communication in a group are also critical. Probably you've been building this already as a product manager, because as product managers, we also need to be able to express ourselves, explain very well our proposals, to talk about the products, and also convince other people to do something that we think is right. So these are the skills that you need to continue growing. And then maybe the last one is business financial awareness and knowledge of the core business skills, especially if this is very different from your background. This was the case for me. So as I said, that coming from academic background, I never really thought about how is the work that I'm doing going to make some money. So I had to start thinking about this more when I got closer to the executive role. Again, I think the starting of this was already me being a product manager, because if you're working in a good organization that's mindful about making some money, then probably you already asked as a product manager, how will this feature or how will this product make money for us? And you started thinking about this. So continue on this path. Try to start to extrapolate your thinking to the whole company. How do we make money as an organization? What kind of costs do we have as an organization? What kind of revenue streams do we have in an organization? What are some ways to impact the revenue or the costs? And this is a great preparation for the C-level discussion.
Thank you so much. Very interesting. And I think the second part on communication is something that is a great segue into another popular question here on our questions from the audience. It's basically what strategies can we use to influence executives and gain buy-in as an individual contributor or middle manager?
Great question as well. There is a whole talk I've given about stakeholder management. It's also on our channel. So to go deeper into this, I do recommend this talk. I talk about different stages of developing your relationship and also how you can prepare well by mapping your stakeholders. To give you a short answer, I think it's first, make sure that you hear the other side out and you really understand them and you show that you understood. Even if you completely disagree with what they're pitching, showing that you have understood and will consider their perspective is critical. Second part is telling your story in a format that is convincing, which is basically general storytelling. So you need to do some intro to explain the context of where you're coming from, then explain what you suggest to do, and importantly, also explain why this is important. So what are the benefits of going with what you're proposing? But again, this comes as a second step. First, if your counterpart has an opinion, you want to make sure that you heard it and you show that you understood it. And then if necessary, you incorporate it in your story and you highlight, okay, these are the things that exactly as you said, I want to do as well. And this is the effect. And this is something else that we additionally want to do, or where maybe I would suggest to do it differently because of the certain arguments.
Thank you. And to follow up on the line of thought on this path of becoming, what would you say, and this is another question from the audience, is a situation or for whom would you not recommend becoming a C-level?
I would not recommend becoming a C-level to someone who is having very hard times with uncertainty. So if you find yourself that uncertainty paralyzes you, and unless you find the perfect answer, you're not really able to move forward, being a C-level is going to be super tricky. As I said, there is really no one above you. There is no manager to go to and ask what's the right thing to do. There is probably no one in the world who really knows how to run your business. This is something that you and other C-level peers of your team need to figure out. So you'll have to be able to operate and not be paralyzed by this lack of understanding. Again, I do think that to some extent, and ideally to the quite big extent, product managers actually should already develop this skill. This is why also one of the, I guess, main points from the presentation I was making is being a product manager is reasonably good preparation for becoming a C-level, because you have to deal with certain aspects of it already on a smaller scale. As a product manager, you also never know like what's the perfect feature to develop, and you will never find out. Like if you can spend months trying to do all kind of research, market research, user research, you will never really know if something is a good idea until you test it, or maybe even sometimes until you launch it and you get real market response to it. So you also have to operate with a high level of uncertainty. And if this has not been a problem for you, then you have good prerequisites to build your skills further and grow into leadership roles.
Got it. Understood. And I like that you're mentioning the fact that PMs already should be, exercising this muscle of communicating and becoming, because the questions are now more and more to the point. Another person from the audience asks, what is the salary range for an associate? Probably they're thinking about product people and thinking about switching careers, but don't know if I can afford it.
Yeah, that's a great question. For associate product manager role in different companies, the salary will vary. It's also true for any level and product management ladder. Unfortunately, there is no standardized career ladder and salaries. You can definitely check Glassdoor, Indeed, or some resources in your country that are relevant. For product people, the good news is that I can share that our salaries are publicly available. You can find them through FAQ page for candidates that you get to from our website or for our job ads page. It explains for which country clusters, what is the salary for any given level. And you can understand we have 2 levels of being an associate, and depending on how much or little experience you have, you will start on either of them. And I like that you asked whether you can afford it or not. We started with looking at opinion of Scott Galloway, who said that careers are assets, and with assets, or we use assets to invest money to make more money in the future, right? So think about your career in this way as well. Depending on where you want to get with a career and what you're doing currently, product management can be a more lucrative career, so actually give you more progress and help you grow faster also financially, or might be not so lucrative. As we said, it's rather on the sexy side of the job market right now, and not the boring jobs that are more stable. I myself switched from working in academia and initially even started with unpaid internship. So I wasn't making money in the first months when I tried to become a product manager. And I think right now that was a great investment because it allowed me to find a role that I'm quite good at and where I could successfully grow. And I was able to leverage this leverage that exists for a role of product manager, but that might not be for everyone indeed. And it's good that you're looking into this, also thinking from this financial aspect. Is it something that will benefit me in the mid-term?
Great answers. Yes, and I think this already could answer the next question that I have here on the popular ones. But if you would like to go deeper into it, I will also give the microphone, Victoria. I have more than 10 years of experience in customer service and operations. Completed an MBA in product management. How should I start my career transition from here?
Congratulations of having a lot of experience. I think this is great experience for becoming product manager. Working in customer service and operations is definitely giving you many transferable skills. So the skills that will make you a good product manager. There are probably still some aspects that you need to get more practical experience with, but you have some training. So I think it's now about finding a position. I don't know if you currently work at any company or not. As we discussed at the beginning of the presentation, if you currently work at a company, then the first thing I would always explore, can you switch from being in your current role to being a product manager in the current company? This is usually easier because people already know you, you have certain trust with them, and you have the expertise of the domain. If you're currently not in a job or in your current company it's not possible to switch, then look for an entry-level positions. They are often called associate product manager, sometimes junior product manager. Sometimes it can be called product manager, but doesn't require a lot of experience in years. So do check in details what the description is about. And again, if you're going into industry where you have already domain knowledge, this will make it the entry point easier. And actually, Ale, maybe you can say a bit about your experience, because I know you did the internal switch to become product manager.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for the microphone. Yes, I started as a product analyst at my past company at Free Now, and I went into try and ask a lot of annoying questions to everybody. I tried to understand the product, I tried to understand our domain, and then I went to become a program manager, and finally a product manager for a specific piece of one of the products that we were developing, the supply side. Let's say the app that was used or is used still by the supply side of this company, which is drivers. So I dedicated them 1 year of my life of trying as much as I could to understand and develop features for that particular product as a product manager. But yes, as Victoria just said, it's a lot about understanding your domain, your company, your product, your teammates, the different roles that you could go deeper into, and ask. The thing that I did and worked for me a lot was just asking a lot to my peers, to my boss, and to other people in other domains. How could I go deeper into building something for the feature or the product that I was working at the moment? Yeah. More questions. There's plenty of questions. I really like this
Nice.
this
I'll
session
try
now.
to give shorter answers.
Mm,
To move
got it.
along.
No worries. So, if you could choose just one learning from your career to share, what would it be?
I would say that the main learning is that communication and relationships are at the core or are key to both doing your job well and growing in your career. Being one person player is not going to help you do your job very well as a product manager, because it's not everything that you can do on your own. At least engineers have to build the software. You cannot do it yourself, but also you have to collaborate with other people. The same for growing your career. Unless you collaborate with others, unless others also recognize the impact and the positive impact you're bringing to the team and the company, it will be hard to make a convincing case that you should be promoted. So communication and relationship with others.
Great. Thank you so much for your answers. So here are a few more questions that are very, very interesting in the sense of these are becoming a bit more personal. For example, here's one that says, I am from a non-European country, and I find there is a bias that prevents people like me to get promoted here to lead roles in Germany. How to manage this?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I would say it's rarely that we find ourselves in the place or a world or place in the world where everyone is equal. I don't think this place exists. You always have something that plays in your favor and something that plays against you. I am also an immigrant. I don't even speak perfect German, that one or many people assume is critical for being in leadership position in Germany. But I still made it possible for myself. And the way I did it is to look for a place that would appreciate my strong sides. So I would encourage for you to do the same. On average, maybe yes, or not maybe, but on average, yes, it is harder to get into leadership position if you're not a German man speaking perfect native German. In reality, there are many places where, and I know many leaders who are not Germans, who have moved to Germany for different reasons, some of them for work, but others also moved for maybe private reasons and then build their career here. It is possible. You don't need to make it into like every company. You need to find the companies that will give you this opportunity. And this means, yeah, maybe don't spend too much time applying, looking for jobs in the companies that you don't see that there is much path for you. Look for companies that were founded and that are led by people more similar to you, because they will probably appreciate you more or pay less attention to the distinction that you have as immigrant and pay more attention to your competencies.
Thank you so much. That was super insightful, and yeah, thank you for going deep into this question. So we have three more questions, and I will try to go about them, trying to follow the same line of thought that we've been doing for the past few minutes. The competitive job market requires over 2 years of experience for junior product manager roles, limiting opportunities for juniors. Any suggestions?
Sure. First, apply to product people. If you don't get the job, at least you will get some experience with applying to the job, and you'll learn something about yourself on the way. So I can recommend it. And if you get relatively far in our process, then you also will get detailed feedback. We really try to put extra time for the candidates who also put extra time in the recruitment process. And hopefully this is helpful for all the candidates who got there. Now, there are not abundance of junior positions, and some of them, yeah, might have unreasonable expectations. My recommendations will look for positions that you still find and apply to them. I would remember that you never should have 100% of requirements or what's written on the job add fulfilled to get the role. This is an ideal candidate that each company hopes that they will meet an ideal candidate, but they are ready to take a candidate who is maybe fulfilling 70% of the job role. Usually this is something around that. So if years of experience is the one thing that you don't have, and you have other things like domain expertise, this will probably still gives you very good chances. So do try applying. And this is also a bit going into a different direction that I don't want to go super deep into, but generally do get to know the company and the market before you apply, and try to also learn about the company from people who work there, because then you will know better how to apply in a better way, how to show the skills that are most relevant to the company. And you also maybe get a referral or some kind of internal recommendation that might make it easier for you to get into the position. And was there something else I want to, and the last one, if that's working, so you're not able to secure a junior or entry role as a product manager, try to get into a role that is close, as Ale, for example, gave his example, being a product analyst or being a program manager, or being a project manager or business analyst in some companies, or product owner as might be the roles that are easier to get to, and then work your way inside of this company to get to become a product manager. One more complex trick is that maybe in the company you're working right now, you're not able to really switch to become a product manager, but maybe you can shadow product manager, and maybe you can help them with some tasks. If you're doing this for some time, let's say half a year to a year, and you're able, like you're fulfilling some of the product manager tasks, even if the company doesn't give you the title formally, I would still say that you can write this in your CV, on your LinkedIn, and say, I've been doing this job for some time, so I do have some experience. This is going to help you. All right. I think we have two more questions.
Two more questions.
Let's be fast.
Yes. I will push. So, first one, I just arrived to the country a few days ago, and I want to understand which are the average salary bands for senior PM, product leader, vice president of product, and head of product.
I congratulate you to arriving to a country. I unfortunately don't know which country you arrived to. Maybe it's Germany, because I am speaking from Germany and Alice from Germany, but I know that people who watch us are from different countries, so I don't want to assume. There are plenty of resources online, and they are reasonably trustworthy to get the bands. So if you look at the Glassdoor, if you look at Indeed, you will find what are some ranges for the roles. Next step I would recommend you to do, and especially if you're new to the certain market because you just arrived to a new country, try to meet with more people, network, and ask them about salaries. Maybe not everyone will tell you salary straight away, so it should not be your first question, but after you get to know people a little bit, usually you can ask them, what kind of bands should I expect? Like, what is the reasonable salary to ask for? So really talking to people is the best way. And the market is changing reasonably rapidly, so whatever was half a year ago true might not be true anymore. That's why asking people right now, especially people who maybe got a job recently, will give you the most recent data.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And if I may, just a quick recommendation for the German market. Kununu is a great place, Kununu with K, to understand salaries for the German market. This is not a sponsor. I just use that a lot. That's it.
That's fair.
And final question. How do you see AI impacting the role? I'm not quite sure which role, but impacting the role.
Sure. I guess a product manager as a whole. I now also see some comments from LinkedIn. Yeah, that Christopher is saying that yes to München. So I guess you moved to Munich. This is the company. So use Ale's recommendation. Look at Kununu for salaries. Again, in other countries, ask people who already work here, what are the trustworthy sources for salaries? And yes, Mariam, this meeting is going to be recorded. The recording is going to be available on LinkedIn, but also on YouTube. AI. AI is definitely changing something. Is it dramatically changing what this essence of the role is? I don't think so, and I am not sure it's going to happen. Ale, maybe you can write, maybe Ale or Marshall, who are actually helping us here, write Kununu in LinkedIn chat that people can find it. Right, so I got a bit distracted. Yeah, I think at the core of product management as a job is relationship, communication, and analytical thinking. And these are things that AI cannot do yet. And I'm not sure we are very close to the point when AI can do all of that. Yes, AI can do some of your daily tasks. So the way AI helps or changes your job as a product manager, maybe makes some things easier, can help you with some data analysis, can help you write a nicer text. But still, how to really speak to other human beings, how to really understand what the other human beings are saying, and that what are they also saying non-verbally, like by their tone, on their face expression. These are the things that are still very important to being a product manager, to being a good product manager, and these are not changing right now. So put your effort and put your attention to the skills, and you'll be fine on the job market. Over.
Thank you so much. That's it. Those are the questions that we had for the day. I will go now and tell you about two very interesting things. We're hiring. Please, if you would like to check out our hiring pool, there's one QR code here, and the second QR code would be for subscribing to our newsletter. Thank you so much, Victoria, for this talk, for answering these questions. This has been an amazing evening. I always find this type of topics super interesting, and it's so nice that we have this also as a recording for having the knowledge there shared and documented, as everything always is forever on the internet. Thank you so much again. We will see you on the next week. I hope everybody had a nice time, and we are going to go